The showdown in Washington in the Flint water crisis starts tomorrow.
A key witness will be Darnell Earley, Flint's former emergency manager.
And tonight, 7 investigator Jim Kirchner has obtained this, a copy of Earley's testimony.
Now, in it, he states he was grossly misled by state and federal regulators, and it would have been unreasonable to reject their guidance.
But that's not going to stop the tough questions tomorrow.
This process started with high drama.
We're calling on the U.S. Marshals to hunt him down and give him that subpoena.
That would be former Flint emergency manager Darnell Earley, who would later run Detroit Public Schools as emergency manager. He lawyered up and refused to appear before Congress last month, but he will now be front and center in the morning. He still could refuse to testify if he feels he's incriminating himself.
If somebody decides to take the fifth, that's their constitutional right. But when the Oversight Committee asks you to come and participate, it's not optional, and especially in a severe situation like this.
The Flint water crisis is severe. The switch to using the Flint River for the city's water was made in April of 2014. It was a switch off the Detroit water system to save money. Flint couldn't afford to stay on Detroit's system a year and a half ago?
Well, it was just another financial burden that the city could not afford.
Darnell Earley has avoided Flint questions. Since then, it turns out the Flint River was more corrosive and caused lead to leach from pipes into the drinking water. It may also be tied to dozens of cases of Legionnaire's disease and 9 deaths. It was not until 18 months later the months of warnings caused Governor Rick Snyder to switch back to Detroit last October. In retrospect, that was a dire decision.
No, none of that was done at the expense of anything. It was done based on the information that everyone had at the time, and it reflected a good, sound public policy decision. Again, there are unintended consequences in every decision.
One of the committee members is Representative Brenda Lawrence from Southfield. All of the committee members have gotten documents not made public to get ready for the witnesses.
He's going to have to take the fifth or answer the question, because the questions will be asked.
Also testifying tomorrow, a former EPA regional administrator, Susan Hedman, who resigned because of the Flint water crisis. An insider who warned about lead last summer was silenced. And leading up to this week, other witnesses who've been questioned by the committee in private.
It's not good enough to just say, oops. People need to be held accountable.
Another committee member from Michigan is Representative Tim Walberg.
But we can put the light on it. We can do the oversight, and we expect answers.
Several members of Congress visited Flint to see the problem firsthand on Saturday ahead of the hearings. And they say this is a bipartisan investigation.
What I've heard from my colleagues is that there's a commitment not just to get to the bottom of this and find out how it happened, but to help make it right.
Providing hundreds of millions of dollars in federal and state money is still part of this process. And in case you're wondering, Governor Rick Snyder will testify, but not until Thursday. In the newsroom, Jim Kirchner, 7 Action News.
7 investigative Jim Kirchner will be in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll have complete coverage of all the testimony. Stephen?